Hello there my RPG lovers and welcome to another video. Dragon's Dogma is one of those games that had the misfortune to be released a few months after Skyrim came out. I think that's one of the main reasons why it got overlooked, as well as Kingdoms of Amalur, another RPG that suffered from a similar fate. But despite this, Dragon's Dogma has gained a cult-like following, and people have been hoping to see a sequel for years, but Capcom never seemed particularly interested in doing that, unfortunately. However, there has been some information about the alleged sequel which quote-unquote leaked on 4chan. According to that leak, Dragon's Dogma 2 will have 12 classes, including main and subclasses. Besides that, there is some additional information about the hub area of the game, along with player housing where you can hang your weapons and sacrifice your pawns for items and equipment. Wait, what? To be fair, you could do that in the first game as well, but just for fun. Anyway, I personally don't like covering any leaks because that's always a slippery slope. If you want to see all the information from that leak, my good buddy Ryan from S-Reaper-G already did a great video about it, I'll leave the link in the description. But we're here to talk about a couple of new RPGs that are supposedly inspired by Dragon's Dogma in one way or another. Before that, a quick word from today's sponsor. Ace Defender is a strategy RPG available for Android and iOS devices. This game combines turn-based RPG and tower defense elements. It has a traditional storyline with more than 40 chapters and nearly 2000 levels. When it comes to the story, the balance of good and evil has been compromised by the rebellion in the Dragon Clan. Silver Dragon Princess escaped to the human lands and she will help you fight evil by summoning heroes. There are 5 different hero factions: Divine, Demon, Shadow, Nature and Light. You start the game with 48 heroes, but every 2 weeks 2 new heroes get released. You get to level them up, combine them how you see fit, and equip gear to create a powerful lineup. Ace Defender offers you a couple of different gameplay modes. You have the Expedition, which is the solo mode, PvE content, which include dungeons, regions and trials, where you can level up your heroes and collect rare items. It also has a PvP mode where you can participate in arena fights with other players within your server, as well as King's Arena that offers you multiple lineups. There's also an option to slow down or speed up the gameplay by using different gameplay multipliers if that's what you like. If you download the game by using my link, you will get 10 Royal Recruit tickets after completing level 2 to 8, and you can activate them by going to the Sky City Tavern and clicking this button. Download the game by using the link that I provided in the description. The first game we're going to talk about is Crimson Desert. This game has been announced back in December of 2020 and it managed to draw a lot of attention. It didn't take long for people to compare this game to Capcom's Dragon's Dogma, and there are a couple of reasons for that. The first reason is the mix of JRPG and Western RPG influence. Dragon's Dogma was essentially a Western RPG with some obvious JRPG influence within its design. Capcom, the studio behind Dragon's Dogma, is based in Japan, so it was really interesting to see a Western style of an RPG from an Asian studio. Well, Crimson Desert is no different. Pearl Abyss, the developer of Crimson Desert, is based in Japan, and this game is obviously going for that Western RPG style, but you can still see some JRPG influence. More importantly, the action combat and the ability to climb on monsters is another big reason why this game could remind you about Dragon's Dogma. When Dragon's Dogma came out, I was convinced that action RPGs of this type would start including the ability to climb on big monsters, because it seemed like a genre-defining feature. Unfortunately, that didn't happen though. For a long time, Dragon's Dogma was probably the only action RPG which could offer this kind of gameplay experience. Well, it seems like Crimson Desert will have something to say about this. There are a couple of gameplay scenes where you can see the player hanging on monsters and dealing damage in a very similar manner like in Dragon's Dogma, as well as this crazy clip where the player is on the back of a dragon. So it seems like climbing will be a big factor in this game. Combined with the fast-paced action combat, I think it's not so hard to see the resemblance with Dragon's Dogma. The trailer for Crimson Desert is full of action gameplay, which is always a great sign when it comes to new games. Cinematic trailers are okay, but people want to see the gameplay. Judging by the trailer, this game will have a fast-paced action combat with some impressive animations and great presentation. It looks like a proper AAA RPG with a big budget. The wrestling moves that you can perform in melee combat is what caught my attention. It seems to give the melee combat a very nice dynamic. And just in general, the combat mechanics in this game look great, and the game seems really fun to play. Black Desert Online is known for having an amazing combat system. Even though that game is an MMORPG, it gives me a lot of hope for the quality of gameplay in Crimson Desert. By the way, I really like how the blood visual effect looks in this game, it gives the combat a very nice touch. We also have some information about specific combat scenarios. In one of the videos on their channel, they said the player can make the enemy drop their weapon by using special or regular attacks. That also means that the enemy can pick up weapons from the ground and use it in fights. It sounds like a really simple mechanic, but I can't really think of an RPG that has this feature. The only game that comes to mind when it comes to this is Zelda Breath of the Wild. We can also see a lot of satisfying finishing animations which the player can perform. When it comes to other features in the game, Crimson Desert seems to have a huge open world to explore with different biomes and weather conditions. The story follows the character named Macduff and the members of his group. These mercenaries will be your followers and they all have unique stories of their own. Let me remind you that the pawn system in Dragon's Dogma was a really important feature and their AI, although annoying at times, was actually pretty damn impressive. So I'm really curious to see how Crimson Desert will handle these followers. Anyway, we don't know a lot about the story itself, except that the heritage of the main character is a major source of conflict for some reason. There are different human and non-human races in the game, as we could see in a lot of gameplay cutscenes. Besides that, there will be dungeons to explore and puzzles to solve, as you would expect in an RPG. The only real criticism I have so far is the performance in this trailer. I just hope the game runs a lot better than this. The performance in some of these trailer scenes is just terrible. Anyway, I'm really excited to see more information about this upcoming RPG, and I'll make some videos when it comes out for sure. Stick around if you want to see that. The second new RPG that has been influenced by Dragon's Dogma is called Rise of Awakener. If you are following my channel, you probably know that I featured this game in one of my recent videos. While there is not a lot of information about it, the gameplay trailer was more than generous. Just like in Crimson Desert, it's not really hard to see the influence of Dragon's Dogma, especially when it comes to some specific parts of the gameplay, like the magic spells and again, the ability to climb on monsters. The gameplay is fast-paced and we could see a couple of different playstyles that the player can utilize. The game allows the player to choose between 3 playable characters, the warrior, archer and the mage. So it seems like pretty standard RPG stuff, I guess. As for the game itself, Rise of Awakener is described as a single-player, open-map action role-playing game set in a fantasy world based upon medieval Europe. You will ride dragons, command airships and partake in engaging combat encounters against a collection of fantastical creatures as they take on a role of an adventurer and embark on a path of revenge and redemption. The main goal of an adventurer that sets on this quest against impossible odds is to become the Awakened One. What does the Awakened One do, or why is it such a coveted rank? Details regarding this and the game's overall story will be announced in the future. And that's pretty much it when it comes to the official info about this game. However, if you dig a little bit, you can find some older development videos from this studio. And they are as impressive as the trailer itself, like this stone golem fight for example. Yeah, like I said, the action looks fast-paced and precise with some cool abilities. It seems like no matter which style of fighting you choose in this game, it will be fast-paced. What's also really interesting about some of these videos is one particular scene where we can see the first-person mode as well. Now I'm not sure if this is actually going to be a feature in the game because in the actual trailer we couldn't see anything about the first-person mode. So I wouldn't get too excited about this feature, although it would be cool to have it as an option. Rise of Awakener is still early in development and like I said, some of these videos are probably really outdated now. The trailer is the newest piece of info we have about this game, but I thought it would be cool to find some more actual footage, even though it's probably outdated. If you want to check out the full video, you can find the link in the description. I really hope we get some more official info about Rise of Awakener soon. I like what I see so far and I think I'm not alone when it comes to those Dragon's Dogma vibes. The only problem with this trailer, I guess, is some of the store assets which are being used. But the game is still early in development, so that could easily change before the game actually comes out. Anyway, that would be it for this video. It's kinda hard to believe that we even have similar games to Dragon's Dogma to look forward to because it's been so long since that game came out and we never had anything close to that experience, but I hope that will change with the release of Crimson Desert and Rise of Awakener. Tell me your opinion about these games in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more RPG contents. If you want to support the channel in the long run, consider becoming a Patreon or a YouTube member. You can get your name on the end credits, as well as some other perks like early access to videos, Discord roles, my plans for future content, etc, etc. That would be all, and I'll see you in the next one.